I have a dream where the powerful and the powerless will sit at the same table, where the haves will see the have-nots, not as burdens, but as brothers, where class will not divide us, but conviction will unite us. I have a dream that the oligarchs will remember we must all eat, that the brown-faced neo-colonialists will remember who they are and whose they are. I have a dream that fraternities will build beyond internal architecture into a national bond, that the walls of design will give way to the bridges of brotherhood, not a fraternity of symbol, but a brotherhood of substance. I have a dream that we remain focused, that we stay in our conviction and remain fearless, that we double down, fortified, to return this Bahamaland to the foundation.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. The Foundation with Howard Grant. Beautiful to be with you. Grateful to be in your company as we continue to be able to jam and have great conversations with you about where we are and when we're going in this lifetime. Guys, it's a beautiful day. Today is the 7th of January 2026. If you're in the land of the living, you definitely got to be able to give praise and continue to be able to move in the direction that God has called you to move in. I am always grateful to be here with you, and I don't take that lightly as I say it. You know, sometimes some things could be repetitious. Sometimes some things could be, you feel like you're saying these things on a consistent basis, but you don't necessarily have the emphasis and the commitment to be able to identify that this is real. This is the truth that comes from here. I want to let you know with honesty, with transparency, that I am truly grateful to be here with you and to continue to be able to talk with you about national issues, where we are, where we're going, and how things are happening. All right. Like I said, today is the 7th of January, 2026. And so we're out here, we're doing all the things that we have to do. Guys, if you want to be able to be a part of what we're doing, please give me a call, 827-0111, 827-0111. And we'd be more than happy to accommodate you. If we have any sound problems, you got to let me go. Maybe I have to use a different mic, but you got to let me know. But, for the most part, everything is showing me that we are good. And we're doing a new thing now where, where I'm operating this by myself, right? So this is exciting to me as I continue to be able to do these things and kind of let you know where we are, all right? Guys, make sure you pick up your papers and see exactly what, like I said before we go further, it was last year's edition, but I still want you to be able to pick up the Realigner. We're coming out this month again. As we continue to be able to do these things, we want to be able to let you know exactly what's what. The Realigner, we want you guys to be able to pick that up and see exactly what's what. You can do that. It's in various gas stations. You can do that. It's down there at Porky's gas station. It's at Roker's gas station. It is at Soldier Road and East Street right there at Tiger Mart. It is at, oh Lord, it is at the Rubis on Gladstone Road. It is at Keith on Prospect Ridge. It is at Burton on Blue Hill Road and Shirley Street. It is at the Paper Ladies right there on New Providence Highway. It's all over, man. Just take it up and you can be able to find it in those various places. We have it. It's on Prince Charles also. You can be able to get that in the gas station on Prince Charles. So we have it at many gas stations. We're really working something out so we can be able to distribute it to all the gas stations so you can be able to pick that up. But if you want to be able to carry the Realigner, rest assured we can be able to make that happen. just give me a call, 827-0111, and we can just show up and give it to you. Now, the paper is, I know that some people are selling the paper, and it's kind of foggy of, Howard, what you doing? Howard, you don't sell the paper. Why you ain't selling the paper? It's going to cost me too much money to sell a paper. And I don't know whether or not there is this level of enthusiasm. Now, after we get the radio station open, after we put commercials, after people gravitate towards it, after all these particular things happen, then we'll consider. But the truth is that we want to be able to get enough advertisements that can balance out what we're doing and give persons an opportunity to be able to get the paper like that. And so that's what we're doing. All right? We're not going to be able to take it, we're not going to sell it. I don't feel like we should sell it. I don't think we should sell it. This is me now. I don't think we should sell it. I don't think we should sell the newspaper. I don't know. This is sort of an internal discussion that continues to happen, and a lot of persons are asking me, Howard, you know, how you can be able to do it now? Well, advertisements should be able to pay for the paper, all right? We get it printed offshore, and with the print and bringing in and so forth and so on, so we're going to have to fix this by being able to do some things ourselves. But, you know, slow and steady wins the race. So we got to be able to take our time and be able to move forward and make these things happen. But if you want to advertise in the Realigner, if you want to do that, if you want to pick up the Realigner, you can do that. Listen, man, we have an objective in mind for the future. We have an objective in mind for tomorrow. And, you know, we may be wrapped up in this sort of an idea of today and what we want to be able to do right now, but tomorrow, we want to be able to change the dynamics of what's happening in our community. I was listening to MSNBC this morning, and they're celebrating 100 years. 100 years. And they give this sort of these numbers and indicated that 92% of the population that was around when they kicked off is no longer here. And the newspaper continues to be able to push forward. Both the Guardian and the Tribune are celebrating almost a century and a half. A century and a half here in this country, as the country celebrates half a century. 100 years before the empowerment of who we are, these papers existed. And with the abolition of slavery, with the abolition of this sort of this idea of segregation that exists in our society, the papers still thrive. And there has been some papers that have come and gone, but these papers remain steadfast in their position. This is not to be able to squash them. That's not what this conversation is about, but I just merely want you to consider the position that we existed. Can I say this to you? I just want you to consider where we are. And with the consideration, you'd recognize the importance of being able to pour into your own. Just pour into your own. Yeah. Because I need your support. I need your support. I can't do this without you. You know, contrary to popular belief, I can't do this without you. I just can't. You know? I know a lot of persons would like to make you think that they can do this, you know, solo dolo. I can't. I need your support for the consistency that we're looking for this sort of an idea for growth and development, for us to be able to have the sustainability that we need, that we desire to be able to move forward and make some things happen. The truth, the raw truth, vulnerable truth is that I need your support. And I can't trick you into lending me support. I can't trick you into this sort of an idea that, you know, we can get support like this. Yeah. I'm not going to be able to be like some organizations that wish to be able to belabor the indifference and the perceived injustices of our society to be able to fan the flames of, segregation, separation, division in our society. I'm not going to do that. But I'm going to say to you, I need your support. All right, so pick up the Realigner. Make sure you tune in with us, 89.5 FM. Give me a couple weeks. We're going to be able to get all those particular things done. Just trying to be able to get the T's crossed and the I's dotted so we can be able to get some things done. All right? And we are enthusiastic. We are excited. We are, looking forward to a great deal of things happening in this season. And we want you to come along for the ride. We've already started hiring people. If you're out there and you're looking for a position, we need salespersons. I need a receptionist. I'm in the space right now. So I need salespersons. I need a receptionist. I need all these particular persons so we can get going. Yeah. I believe that this has the potential to be able to be a culture changer, a culture shift in this country. Yeah, I believe that this exists. The influence exists within the confines of what we're doing to be able to make the next generation to understand that we can do it different. Yeah. We can do it different. And this is not this kind of a difference that defies. This is merely, we can do it different than what existed before that didn't lead to productivity. We can do it different. We can do it different that speaks the language of who we are. Historically now, we can do it in an area and in a way where we can be able to celebrate who we are as a people. What our culture is. That's what I want to do. I want to be able to leave you the influence to understand that your strengths of who you are is what people had looked at you as indifferent prior. We can do this. I need your support. So if you're interested, guys, let me know. If you're interested, let's make some things happen. Hit me up. Let's make some things happen. And we can be able to do it like that. All right? Let me know if you can hear me, guys. If you can't, just let me know so I can see if I can fix this thing right here. 827-0111, 827-0111, right there on my lines, on our lines, so we can be able to do that, all right? Partially blind dad killed on crossing. I don't know how you all see this, right? I can be honest with you. I don't know how you see this. I don't know how you see sort of the idea that exists in our society. I don't know how you see, and this is me, so we can talk like this. I don't know how you see this perspective, this position of what's happening. Now, I could be superstitious, or I could just be stupid. I don't know. I don't know. Don't fight me, all right? Don't fight me. I could be superstitious. I could be sort of a weirdo. I could be, how some people say I'm super spiritual or whatever. I don't think that I am. But I just see some different things. I look at things like dreams, okay? So my wife had a dream the other night, and, she would tell me her dreams. And God has given us, these kind of what skill you have, okay? And so my wife would have a dream, and she said, I dreamed that you were here, and you were dressed like this, and someone was behind you, and you were jogging, and this is this and that, boom, 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 boom. And my mind instantaneously pulls up biblical scripture that aligns with the dream, and then I go and study and try to figure out what it is. This is how I do it, okay? And so she said I was on a marathon, and I was running, and I was preparing, and I didn't do it before, and I wanted to do it, and I got tired, but this time I had support, and people was jogging behind me, and I was doing, no, there was a person behind me, like a trainer, who was helping me to be able to move forward. And you were on this marathon. This is my wife saying this. This is what she's telling me. And while she's telling me, my mind instantaneously giving me biblical references to make me to understand things. While she's talking, I'm funneling this through my data bank from a biblical standpoint. And if I don't know it and she's saying something, I go look up the thing. This is just how I do my thing. And so the race is not given for the swift, but for those who endure to the end. That's what popped up in my head. That's a marathon, right? And then she said, goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. And this would pop in my head. This would pop in my head. Okay? I want you to go with me and hear what I said. This would pop in my head as she telling me. If you tell me something, I already putting it through a filter in my head, and I don't see it for what you saying to me, which is a superficial surface thing. I know that there is an implication that's deeper than what exists in this space. I know that. It has to be. And so when I see things, I try to figure out through prayer, through a quiet time, Lord, what are you saying? I don't know if you do that. I don't know whether or not you're so wrapped up in your day-to-day business that you just, all you do is just, I got to go to work, I got to get, and you do your thing. I'm not going to fight you, baby. Do your thing. But I know this life ain't even real if it's vanity, if all is vanity. If men and women are willing to give their life up, their one soul, to be able to acquire a thing that is corruptible, this money, sex, cars, clothes, prestige, position, vanity, all is vanity. If it's all vanity, then none is real. Oh Lord, Jesus, I getting somewhere. I just get preachy sometime, and I just got to calm down. If all is vanity, then none is real. And so, when I identify these things in our society, when I see these things, and I travail and I walk around and I identify these particular things, I recognize there are some things that's happening. Talk to me. I'm sensitive enough to know that there is a shift afoot. I'm sensitive enough to know that there is something happening now. I'm sensitive enough to know. And in my sensitivity, I'm aware. In all that you do, you pray without ceasing, and everything you do it as unto the Father. And that's just how I live my life. I don't want to be one of these people in the aftermath that says, wow, if I only had believed. If I only had believed. If someone only sat me down to make me, listen. Let every man work out his own soul's salvation with fear and trembling. You work your thing out. You pursue that thing that you wish. You either serve God or you serve Mammon. And Mammon is a very clear indication Mammon is a very clear indication of the superficiality that exists in these particular spaces. Of the vanity. That's what Mammon is. Mammon is a representation, an identity of vanity. Now let's talk. I didn't get that out, so let's talk. Partially blind man died killed on crossing. I swear I don't see what you see. I'm sad that this happened. I'm disappointed, and I know that the family is going through. I saw the pictures with his daughters, his family, and I know that he's no longer with us. But like I said to you, we're in a hypersensitive state. And a very clear understanding that there's some things that are happening in our country. And as I look at this partially blind man, guys, I guess it's just too early for me to be able to kind of let you know these things, but I believe that the Father always tells us things. He shows us things. He shows us things. The crippled man that sat at the gate beautiful. I don't want to get preachy today. But the crippled man that sat at the gate beautiful, that was paralyzed from his birth. And people keep coming up to Jesus and say, "Man, this guy didn't do anything. Or how did he get in this particular position? And how did this happen? And why did this happen? Why would this happen to him?" And so forth and so on. And God told them in so many words that this happened to him for this very moment. So you could believe, so you could understand. So you don't have to speculate about what has happened to him, but you could recognize that the power and the strength of God exist. This man just know that he was crippled. And this was his portion in life. And in the midst of that, there was a question that was put to him: will you be made whole? Bang. Yes. Get up, take up your bed, and walk. There's so much things to unpack there. But as a man thinketh, he thought he could walk a long time. And he'd get up and he walked. There are people in our lives, individuals, circumstances, situations, that are prompts, that are sort of markers to let us know that there is a transition afoot. Our inability to be able to see with clarity to what the future is a representation of being partially blind. And sitting on a juncture, doing our best to be able to ensure that we adhere to rules and regulations and being able to move in a particular direction, both locally and internationally. Man, God, I'm just trying to be calm. I don't want y'all to think this thing is a show and I out here prophesying. I'm simply saying to you, I just read into the things. I just read it and say, God, what you saying? What does this mean? This is wild. This is wild that the people would actually take the time and put this in the front of the paper, something happening, and you need us to know. You need us to know. This is wild, what is happening. We, as a nation, partially blind, because we haven't committed fully. Oh my God. It's a Christian nation in thought. That's it. The word and deed is the other two quarters that, two-thirds that we don't necessarily apply, because it's thought, word, and deed. But we're a Christian nation in thought. If I could tell you a joke. My grandmother, one time, my grandmother, I love her very much, but I'm going to tell you this joke. And like many of our grandmothers, there's a cuss word or two that has come out periodically. And so I'm going to tell you this joke. My grandmother's 97. Respect my grandmother, amen? And don't look at her funny, but I can tell you this joke. My Grammy like a little wine. She's not a wino, like she says. She's not a wino, but she takes a taste. Just a little for the stomach's sake. My grandmother's an Anglican, if that's any consolation. And in the middle of it, and I'm telling you about the thought of us being Christian, in the middle of it, when her knees got bad, she couldn't move. And my Grammy's sort of a stout, she's hefty. So she can't move, right? She ain't a slim Grammy. She ain't out here 128 pounds. She's a Grammy. She's a couple Grammys, if that's what we could call it, right? So she's sitting down, her knees went bad. And so someone, namely me, right, or one of my uncles, would buy her a little Pierre Marcel or a little Mother Pratt or something like that, right? Oh, Jesus, go with me, Lord. Keep and guide me and protect me so I don't, anyway, praise Jesus, right? So we buy Grammy a little something to taste. And we give her a little something. Now, she's sitting on the chair all day. She getting from Wheel of Fortune to The Price is Right to this, to that, to all these game shows in the morning and all this stuff like that. She can't really necessarily move. When she moved, she got to stay down for a little while. There was a time when she had to get steroid shots in her knees and so forth and so on. But she still wanted a little taste every so often. Not much, but just a little taste, you know. So we'd buy it for her. And this couch, she really commandeered the entire couch, right? It was a 2-seater couch. And she kind of stick the stuff that she got or whatever the case may be, her purse, a couple dollars or whatever. If somebody say, Mama, Grammy, I need to borrow $5, $10, whatever the case may be, she could chuck her hand in the couch and she pull out a wad. Praise Jesus. This Grammy. And the same crevice, she slide a little wine. My mother must have sat down with her. my mommy sit in the chair with her, right? And she sat in the chair with her. She filled a bottle of wine. She pulled out the bottle of wine. She said, Mommy, what is this? Mommy, what is this? So she said, you can't see, right? So she said, but Mommy, what is this? Mommy, you are an old woman now. You need to stop it and get yourself prepared to meet Jesus Christ. My mommy preaching to Grammy now, so I say, oh Lord, this ain't gonna end well. This ain't gonna end well. This ain't gonna end well. She said, let me tell you something, you little beep. So I said, what? What is going on here? She said, you don't know nothing but my relationship with Jesus Christ. You don't beep, beep. And she cussing her. And I looking at this, and I recognize in the embodiment of this conversation who we are as a people, because she's a representation of the old guard in our country. And whilst we continue to be able to commit ourselves in thought and even in occasional prayer to the Father, whilst we commit ourselves to the idea of growth and development and commit ourselves to where God has called us to be in our minds, our application and our words don't necessarily align with the thoughts that we have of ourselves. We are a nation only mentally as a Christian nation. Yeah, because we know I don't do no bear, I don't do this, I don't do that. But you know, the indiscipline, the indifference that you take, right? Disobedience is the same thing as the sin of witchcraft. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. We are a nation who accepts in our mind that we're Christian, but our words and our application, what we put our hands to, we are Christian, and then we spray some of that black magic in the house for blessings. Bananas! I can't even get no amen. Jesus, how you get in your house? We are Christian, and now young people sudging. Let's get your sage. You wrap your sage up. You light your sage. You walk around the house. It's called sudging. We are Christians, and we get strategic and specific incense to burn in the house because this is supposed to bring a blessing in the house. We are Christian, and when the money baht come in the house, Grammy used to freak out. Oh, let him in the house. Let him, oh, Jesus. Oh, freaking out. We are partially blind as a nation. And from an international standpoint, more specifically as I read this, because I just want to touch this, not necessarily from the perspective of the superficial, but being able to recognize something a little bit deeper. As a partially blind nation, as we sit on the crosswalks, and with preparation to go stepping over our proverbial Jordan into the future that we envision, the future of prosperity, the future of this, the future of that, we are killed on the crosswalk. The crosswalk is a global thing. Oh, God. This is too much. The crosswalk is a global thing. And as we take into account what's happening with Venezuela and recognizing that the proverbial hammer is coming down, I look at these things and I see a little bit more than what exists on the surface. And I'm only asking whether or not you're prepared. I'm only asking whether or not you are prepared to make those steps. It's hard, man. It's hard. When I see a 12-year-old girl raped and murdered, it's hard when I see a 9-year-old girl raped. It's hard, man. It's hard in this nation. We don't expect everyone to be lily white and, pristine. But we desire a consciousness to exist in our nation. There are generations that, after my grandmother, generations and generations after my grandmother, who don't know the God of my grandmother, who don't know how to mix a little bit of superstition with faith, who don't know. That means that they have no anchor at all. They have no reference point. Their mothers and fathers gave up on God because it never worked for their grandparents. Why should I do this? Their mothers and fathers gave up on the prospect and the idea of being able to move towards where God has called them to move because they never saw the evidence in the people that was around them prior. This is bananas, what I'm telling you, And as we look at this, our nation is giving itself up for the acquisition of things. Vanity. We're selling our birthright. We're selling everything that exists and that belongs to us because our reticular activating nerve, I think that's what Dazi said called one time, is calcified. Our pineal gland is calcified. We have no vision. We have no vision. I'm not talking about individually. I don't know you and your business, but I'm talking about collectively as a nation. We have no vision. We have no vision. And I'm disappointed in you. I'm disappointed in you because the only thing that you could see is stuff. You are a greyhound pursuing a carrot, pursuing a hare on the track of life. All you do without recognition, without understanding, without consciousness is run after the hare when you see it. You got tunnel vision for stuff. Our nation has tunnel vision for things. And there's no pause. There's no stepping back. There's no assessing. There's no evaluation. There's no absorption and understanding of where we are. There's no application and being able to move forward. You have failed. We have failed. The failure is not to be placed on any administration. In fact, the failure starts in our homes. The failure starts in our homes. The failure starts with our parents. The failure starts with our grandparents. The failure starts with the perceived notion that you can be able to put aside God and grab hold of this thing, this entity, this organization, this idea, and we will assist you in being able to live a better life. They never cast a vision for you. They never said to you that this is what we imagine for you. They just said, follow us. I don't care what this is, politics, fraternities, corporations, organization, government entities, drugs. I don't care what it is. They only said to you, follow me. And you wouldn't live in squalor. That ain't no vision, man. Squalor is fine with a person who ain't got no vision. Because it don't matter if your brain is off. Man, Jesus, let's talk. If you still stupid, I don't want to talk with this level of aggression. I want to be decent. If your brain is off, if you lack integrity, if you don't have a vision, and someone says, I can take you out of squalor, and you move out of this level of squalor, you are still the proverbial pig. And everywhere you go, it will be a pigsty. You have no vision. You have no vision. Our nation lacks vision. And you continue to be able to meander, hitting from the rail one side to another. All day you hitting from one railing to another. You hitting. And you meander to death. You meander to death like a drunken man. You continue to be able to sway from one side to another, never being able to identify the straight and narrow. The reason why the pathway to hell is wide is because you continue to meander. And no matter how far you drift off, you will always be on this road of nothingness. And that's us as a nation. You blame the FNM, you blame the PLP, you blame the COI, you blame the DNA, you blame the CDR, you blame leadership, you blame drugs, you blame this, you blame that, you blame every Jesus body, you blame everything. I know you just blame God. You blame everybody and never take a conscious effort to identify how we could do better. How the hell can we do better? How can we do better, Jesus? How can we do better? You meander with the thought of Christianity in the pockets of your mind where lint exists. And the application of whatever I could do to get over. That's you. You don't want to have that conversation with me. That's you. That's me. That's us, collective. Not individually. Individually, you're doing well. Individually, you're maintaining. Individually, you're surviving. Individually, you may be hurting, but you believe in that something can happen. You have the idea of Christianity. You have the idea that God forgives, and then you go and play numbers. Yeah, man. Nobody want to talk to me like this. You have the idea that you can do these things, and then you go and you talk to me. Are we talking, or are you just going to pretend with me? You have the idea that you're going to do these things. The idea. And then your words don't align with what your thoughts are. Because your thoughts are faint, translucent at best. At best, translucent at best. You could see through them. There's no substance in your mind. You accept anything that any administration comes to you with and say that we're going to give you more things. Because your idea of liberation and access to the freedoms that you seek to enjoy are wrapped up in the acquisition of things. Bananas. I can never be free unless I get a Mercedes-Benz. I can never be free unless I get a 2-story house. I can never be free unless I get $350,000 in the bank. And I'm making that annually. I could never be free unless I get this plastic surgery. I can never be free and fulfill the true potential that exists in my heart and in my mind unless I acquire this thing. You have equated liberty, access, and the independence of being able to make your own decision with the acquisition of things. Bananas. Mother sick. Mother sick. Isn't that crazy? You believe having things. Things. You know, no matter how much things you get, you're still going to be miserable. There's a hole in your bucket, dear Liza, dear Liza. There's a hole in your bucket, dear Liza, there's a hole. There's nothing you can do with this proverbial hole in your bucket. No one can patch that. You try to patch it with love. You pursue love not for the purposes of being able to share your life with someone, but for the desire to be able to get the endorphins from the emotional connection that you make with people. You're joking. And you sit here and you read the paper day in, day out. You watch the murders go to triple digits, and when it's double digits, there's cause for celebration. You don't recognize that our country is losing its soul. Our country is losing its soul. We must do better than this. We got to do better than this. Let's talk about these things, guys. We're here, we're talking. If you want to join me, 827-0111, you can send me a text, or you can hit me up, 827-0111 on WhatsApp, and you can be able to be live with me here online. I can just put the microphone to the telephone, and we can be able to do that. Guys, humble beginnings. Don't despise your humble beginnings. I got an objective, I got a goal, I got a desire, I got a dream, I got a hope and an idea. I'm moving towards that. This idea does not only encompass this kind of a presentation of what Howard Grant has acquired, but a desire to be able to influence you, to let you know this wasn't nothing to talk about. You could do this too. Let's make some things happen, guys. I'm going to take this quick commercial break, and we're going to be right back after this.
Say they wanna know where I go. Tell her. Alright, watch ya. I come from the 242, where we like beat drum and we drink sky juice. Epic ride inside the vehicle. Go everywhere stage, we move the needle. They wanna know the life living down south. It's the cautious, keeping on. No concern, corruption must burn. MP Trump, police and split birds. Blood on the streets, code for the gang, then gone obsolete. Killing up women and children and ting. Politician and the drug boy, them got linked. Now what you think? Look what you see. Don't care but you, don't care but me. They street boys still own everything. Now so funky. But I just can't tell. Selling the land and building up hotel. What about the small man? Where they gonna go? Back mother and child. Where they gonna go? Cost of living, dealing from the people at a big surplus. Vulture in the vest of disguise. Every day I know the ancestor them cry. Walk with pride and fought the front line. Only for their sons to walk the road blind. Run turbulence with no compromise like Isaac the Kid. Tired seeing poor people suffering and getting tricked by the government again and again.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, right here on The Foundation, being able to talk with you and jam to talk about where we are and where we're going in this country as we continue to be able to move forward with these things. There's a lot of things that I want to talk to you about. And more specifically, last night I had a great opportunity to be at a great time. I sat down with a very good friend who I haven't seen in a while. Sometimes people think you're running from them, amen. But, there is the necessity that when you're building and you're developing and you're doing some things and you're kind of transitioning and moving from one thing to another, you don't necessarily do it out in the open. And so not to slight anybody or to, be derogatory and say anything about anyone and give the impression of anything other than what it is. It's just work. It's just a reframing of my mind and a very clear understanding that I needed to make a particular thing work. And so that's what I did. With the development of the newspaper and now the licensing and preparation to be able to bring to you a fresh new sound and talk radio and music on Foundation Radio 89.5 FM. Foundation Radio 89.5 FM. It's really going to be something. It's going to be something. And I'm excited about it. And I don't think I could have done it, because guess what? I took that time out and got into prayer, got into some fasting and did some stuff like that in preparation to be able to move forward. So I just want you to know that there's a lot of people who I have not seen since then. There's a lot of people who I have not called since then. But it's just what it is. You just got to be able to move forward and make some things happen. This ain't got nothing to do with you. This ain't this or none of that. It's just a very clear understanding that we got to move forward. We got to make some things happen. And everyone can't be with you when you need solitude, when you need a solemn space. So I'm hoping that everyone understands that. I'm hoping that you are. And I'm hoping that the results of this post-cocoon effect will make you to understand that sometimes you need to be able to separate yourself to elevate. Talk to me. I can't get away, man. Sometimes you got to separate to elevate. Amen. Praise God. Guys, Barry Allen has called for a standalone seat as the Boundaries Report expected to be tabled in the House of Assembly today with the Boundaries Commission expected to table a long-awaited report in the Parliament today. Barry Islanders residents are calling for their own parliamentary seat, which I believe is peculiar. Let's see if we can try to find out exactly who's who. All right? They're calling for their own parliamentary seat, warning that the proposal to merge the island with Bimini would once again leave them overlooked. But you're merged now. Your population is in 2,000 people. Let's talk about it. Berry Islands are currently paired with North Andros and were previously combined with Bimini. Sources say that the Davis administration is expected to propose changes that would again pair the island with Bimini. Let's read this. And then it goes on to say, creating a new seat in Western New Providence, combining multiple communities, including parts of Kalani, under a single electoral boundary. When contacted for comment yesterday, many Berry Island residents told the Tribune that the island deserves a representative from their own community who can properly advocate for the needs in Parliament. They agree that when they're paired with the larger or more politically dominant islands, the Berry Islands are routinely marginalized. Erica Knowles, a Berry Islander resident, said that she was surprised to learn of the proposed new seat configurations. This is news to me. This is what she said. She says, as always, they don't consult with the people. They just do their own thing. This is what she said. She said, Ms. Knowles expressed her disappointment that the Berry Islands would once again be grouped with another island. We are paired with North Andros. And so they're combining us with Bimini again, is what she said. She says, I just think that the Berry Islands needs to be a standalone seat. That's my feeling on the whole thing. When asked why, she said that past pairings have brought about little benefit to the residents. It doesn't matter who they pair us with. Nothing gets done in any event, is what she said. Ms. Knowles believes that a separate constituency would improve representation. It would be better if we could have had persons from our community who have an interest in the community to represent us, because as of now, representation is severely lacking. She pointed out that several long-standing challenges, including poor telecommunications she said BTC is non-existent on the island. I don't know if that got anything to do with your MP. Amen? I don't know if that have anything to do with your MP. BTC is non-existent on the... I don't know if that have nothing to do with your MP. I don't know if you can fight your MP down for BTC being non-existent on the island. No, you're going to have to take another route and be able to identify these particular things. All right? So, let's check it out. They say that BTC is non-existent. So they closed their location due to mold that was over maybe 2 years ago. Ooh, and the building never was reopened. So they don't have they don't have a presence here. This is what Ms. Knowles said. She said that the absence of the island's technicians have made service unreliable. In the last several days alone, we've been having challenges. You may not have even been able to reach me if you tried to call like 3 hours ago, because the system was just down for hours, and that's every day. Banking services are also limited, with only a credit union operating on the island. Mrs. Knowles says. Mrs. Knowles said even that service was recently under threat due to low transaction volumes. Okay, hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Let's be clear about some stuff. Let's be clear about some stuff. The population of Berry Islands in the Bahamas was 1,002 persons in 2022. This is the census in 2022. This was 3-4 years ago, with most residents living on Great Harbor Key, a significant increase from the 807 record, which was in 2010. Okay, now watch out now. Watch out. Based upon the last two censuses, within 12 years, separate from the first one that they take, which was 807 plus another 200, right? They didn't even have 200. They had 95 people. 95 people over 12 years populated this particular space. Let's just be decent. We ain't trying to disparage you or say anything negative about you and saying that you don't need these things. Let's just talk what makes sense. We can talk facts and figures. 807 people recorded in 2010 census, with an older estimate pacing around 500 to 700 residents across the island chain. The key population 2022 census 1,002. In 2010, 1,002. 1,002 persons in 2022. And 210, 807. Pre-220s around 500 to 700 persons. The main settlement is the majority of the population lives in Bullocks Harbor on Great Harbor Key. The island chains, the Berry Islands, are a group of 30 islands and over 100 smaller keys. Let's just be very clear about this, Ms. Knowles. I hear your passion and your position. The first thing that you said is that I feel. Yeah. That's the first thing that you said. You said, it doesn't matter how they pair it. Let me see where you said this. She said, that's my feeling. She says, we are paired with North Andros, and so that they are combining us with Bimini again. And this is what she said. She said, I think that the Berry Islands needs to be a standalone seat. I think that the Berry Islands needs to be a standalone seat. And that's my feeling of the whole thing. And says, when asked why, they asked her why, and she said, past pairings have brought little benefits to residents. Past pairings. It doesn't matter. This is what she says. She says, it doesn't matter who they pair us with. Right? That's what she says. She says, I just think that the Berry Islands needs to be a standalone seat. That's my feelings on the whole thing. Governments can't run on your emotions, your desires, and the fact that you're wrapped in this community and your life exists in these particular things. The government has a responsibility of being able to tackle the entire Bahamas and ensure that there's representation that exists in every one of the subsectors and spheres. With the 100 keys, 20 main islands, and the majority of the persons being able to be in Berry Island in one area, it will be a waste of resources. Can we say this? Now, I can do this, right? And I sit on a peculiar chair, so y'all forgive me as I continue to try to get myself straight. I can do this. And I did this yesterday, and I want to be able to do this again. I can do this. Because we're so stuck, so many of us. And I'm not talking about Ms. Knowles specifically. I'm talking about the concept and idea that exists in our country, believing that assistance can only come from where it came from prior. I can do this, okay? The government of the Bahamas, under the Free National Movement, has created an opportunity after significant social engagement, after these prospects and ideas. They incorporated an idea in, I think this was in the 2000s. I think this was in the 2000s, to be able to have local government enforced in these particular spaces. The only place in the jurisdiction that local government is not enacted and enforced significantly in this country is Nassau. Local government is in throughout the Family Islands. We continue to be able to hear about the local government elections. We hear about these particular things. Local government exists in these spaces. That's one. There are communities in 8 Mile Rock, in Grand Bahama, the Chamber of Commerce. There are groupings and subsectors and organizations that come together that forge to be able to assist with the development of these particular things. Your enthusiasm, your passion, your feelings, your emotions, as you continue to emote, about and your feelings, and give the sort of an analogy and the depth of what your expectations or desires are. How long will we sit at the gate beautiful, waiting for the water to be troubled? And then, as the water is being troubled, because it is being troubled nationally, talk to me, I can't get no amen. I'm talking to you, I want you to hear me. The waters of our national infrastructural development is being troubled by the PLP administration. They are working. They are working on airports in Exuma. They are working on Grand Bahama and being able to ensure that they could settle an agreement to build the airport, to make sure that they could acquire the hotel, to be able to get everything taken care of. The PLP is working. They're doing things in Cat Island. They're doing things in Long Island. They're doing things in Eleuthera. The waters of national development are being troubled by the PLP. And as you sit at the gate beautiful, you are merely screaming at those people who are pursuing something to get something done. I can't even get no amen. You have not because you ask not. And if your only posture and your position, and I'm not talking about being able to do this, I'm not talking about, oh, as a resident, I have to do this. Don't take on that kind of a perspective. Don't do it. These people are mere men. They're not mortal. They're not immortal. They're not gods. They're mere men. They're mere men who are exhausted of dealing with all these particular things, then going to deal with their family. I am sorry. And I don't mean to put you and marginalize you as a community, but you live there. Nobody could see the tribulation that I'm going through if I'm in my home sitting down in the dark. No one. No one. I get up and I get out. I present a concept, I present an idea, and if that doesn't work, I go here. I make a call, I do this, I do that. I forge a community, I pull people together. I say, do you believe in this dream? And I start to work. And there's nothing different than you. You can do this. The waters of national productivity are being troubled by the PLP. They are seeking to build infrastructural developments left, right, and center. The hospital here in Nassau, they're doing something in Freeport, they're doing another hospital. The PLP seeks to do these things. I don't care what your government is, if this your people or they responsible for us. They sit in the capacity of government. Listen, the government of the Bahamas ain't no PLP or no FNM. They are the government of the Bahamas. They sit in neutrality. They have a responsibility. And you take advantage of that. You're sitting there and well, don't be concerned. Write your letter. Forge your agreement. Pull your people together. Forge an organization. Do this. Find someone who's a lawyer. Get yourself incorporated. Get identified. Incorporate those things. Put a couple projects together. We want to build a road. We need this. We need that. Present it to your member of parliament. Present it to government. Present it to the office of the prime minister. This is what we need. Don't wait until a Tribune can call you or this one can call you or that. Oh, thank God you get me now because in 3 hours, come on, man. Come on. Come on. Figure this out. Let's figure it out. Let's figure it out. We are not crippled. We are not crippled. Oh, I ain't got no internet here. Listen, call Mr. Marshall at Sell All. Mr. Marshall, I need 5 Starlink internet. He'll send them to Berry Island. You get your Starlink internet, you put them in a certain area. Everybody can get internet at these strategic locations. Make your member of parliament pay for the monthly bill. Come on, man. Let's work. We sit now waiting these people to give us ideas and tell us, let's work. The world has given us technology and accessibility. We don't need to go through these things no more. We don't need to go through it no more. You go on Berry Island Park, you put your Starlink up, right? You slap your Starlink up in the air. You put all your things in there on Berry Island Park. You make it live. All the children can get their Starlink. They're going right there, bang. And as soon as you say you want to, listen to me. As soon as you say you want to do that, you write a letter to Alive, you write a letter to BTC. This is what our plans are. We want to give you the opportunity to be able to acquire this business. As soon as you find yourself in that position, and you watch them take advantage and come to you and say, hey, listen, let's do these things. Guys, this is brought to you by Crystal Select. Make sure you go on East Street South and check them out, all right? They're Crystal Select. They got everything available for you. Great water and great tasting water. Go check out my guy at Crystal Select. I won't give you the number. I had it, you know. I can't even see this. Jesus. I can't even see the number. But anyways, East Street South, right there, you can be able to go and pick that up, Crystal Select. Guys, we got to be clear about these particular things, man. We got to be clear about these things. We have to be clear in our minds with our determination to be able to make some things happen. We have to. I hate to continue to be able to blame these things, but the government of the Bahamas needs to be able to consolidate those seats. It's just what's going to have to happen. The government of the Bahamas has to consolidate those seats. The government of the Bahamas must identify a way to pull 1,000 people here and 2,500 people here to be able to identify a constituency. Collectively, I don't think MP Lightbourne has 5,000 people under his jurisdiction, inclusive of the Berry Islands. Collectively, I don't think they had 5,000 people, inclusive of the Berry Islands. We've recognized that Bimini has increased substantially over the course of time as it relates to being able to, their population has grown significantly with the introduction of Bimini Bay, with the introduction of all those commercial entities that are coming into this particular space. We've seen Bimini being able to diversify and grow exponentially, right? They themselves didn't have the population 15 years ago, 20 years ago to be able to have a standalone. They themselves at this time don't have the population to be able to have the government pump the resources to ensure that this grouping of people is taken care of accordingly. Let's be clear with these particular things now. Let's be clear about these things. The Constitution requires us to be able to ensure that every constituency is balanced. Now, there is no rules, regulations, or law that says that every constituency has the same amount of persons, but the Constitution requires there to be a balance. And let's say 400,000 people, we call it 400,000 people, and we divide that 400,000 people into 40. If we want to go by these particular things, each constituency should have at least 10,000 people. Each constituency should have at least 10,000 people. If we divide it by 40 constituencies, 10,000 people each. The government of the Bahamas has indicated that they're going to be able to potentially create 41 seats. That's what they're saying. That they're going to create 41 seats. So if you take 400,000 people, right? And it's not even the 400,000 people, you know. I think it's less, let's call it 180,000 people who are registered to vote. You take 180,000 people and you divide that into the 41 seats, then each constituency should have 4,390 people, roughly. Registered voters, 4,390 registered voters per constituency. This is what the math is saying to us. Bimini and Berry Islands still don't have that number. And the government of the Bahamas recognizes that they need to be able to provide you an opportunity despite. Now, you may look at it, a lot of persons may look at it from a different perspective and say, oh, they're just trying to be able to win this. And no, however you look at it, you're still screaming for independent representation. And these things aren't difficult. We can't just provide an opportunity for social promotion for everyone. We've done enough of that. You've done enough of that. We continue to be able to provide an opportunity for social promotion for so many persons. We've done enough of that. We've given you an opportunity just because, well, that's my cousin. I'm this. I said, oh, you know, I've been to school with him. That's my schoolmate. That's my schooling. We have done enough of this. We've done enough of this. We have the responsibility of being able to ensure that we put competent, capable people at the forefront. And if you're one of those persons that exist in Berry Islands that says that I can be able to represent well, the representation should not only be for Berry Islanders, then let somebody else be able to get a little taste of that also. Come to the forefront, formalize your opinion, your view, your position, and run for that particular constituency. If 100% of the people on Berry Island vote in the constituency for Jeffrey Brown, whoever, right? If 100% of the people vote for Jeff Brown because he's a Berry Islander, as he's running for these, as he runs independent, and they 100%, he will still lose. He will still lose. Unless someone else supports him. You do not have a standalone position. All of us have to work together. And many of us who may be on the mainland and in a more a densely populated space, we can be able to identify these things and say, okay, yeah, this is what we get, and we're going to be able to work according to that. But it cannot be wrapped in these emotions. We must stop this. We must stop this. I would like to talk to Miss Erica Knowles. Hopefully the phone can be on and find out more about it, about these particular things. One of the things is Ms. Knowles said that some of the development is taking place through the cruise-related projects on Great Stirrup Key. It said that the construction is nearing completion on what will be known as Pleasure Island. Pleasure Island is wild. Pleasure Island. Once completed on the Berry Islands, will host 2 cruise ports, in addition to 2 on Little Stirrup Key and Perfect Day at Coco Key. VJ Reckley agreed that the Berry Islands needed their own seat, saying that past arrangements with Bimini and Andrews have consistently left the island overlooked. You could fix it. This ain't hard. You could fix this. You could fix this. You have a desire for your MP who don't have a vision for your community. You could fix this. Fix this. Ask for assistance. Put your brains together. Sit down. Fix it. Let's fix it. Let's fix it. I'd love to be able to reach out to you guys and talk to you and see if we can be able to get these things happening. I'm going to be heading on the other show again tonight. On Beyond the Headlines, so I can see if I can try to be able to get these conversations and talk about these things. But let me take this quick commercial break, guys. Going to be right back after this.
Say they wanna know where I go. Tell her. Alright, watch ya. I come from the 242, where we like beat drum and we drink sky juice. Epic ride inside the vehicle. Everywhere stage we move the needle. They will know the life living down so cause the cautious keeping on no concern, corruption must burn. MP drunk, police and split birds. Blood on the streets, code for the gang, they gone obsolete. Killing up women and children and ting. Politician and the drug boy, them got linked. Now what you think? Look what you see. Don't care but you, don't care but me. They street boys still own everything. Now so funky, funky, funky. Saying Walk with pride and fought the front line. Only for the sons to walk the road blind. Run turbulence with no compromise like I exert the kit. Tired seeing poor people suffering and getting tricked by the government again and again.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Just was looking at a couple of these particular things, trying to make sense of it. I just got the Boundaries Commission from the Parliamentary Registration Department being able to look over it, the Boundaries Commission report, and I wanted to look at something more specifically as we continue to be able to dive into this conversation. Just kind of picking up where we sort of left off, Berry Islanders indicated that they deserve their own constituency seat. North Andros and the Berry Islands constituency total number of voters in North Andros and the Berry Islands equates to 2,684. 2,684. If we go by that average that we made, right? Minus 2,684, which was 4,390 persons per constituency for the constituencies that we've identified, for 180,000 voters. Just as hypothetically, as we continue to talk about these things, North Andros and the Berry Island fall short by 1,700 people. North Andros and the Berry Island fall short by 1,700 people. If you're going to be able to look at this, if you're going to be able to have this kind of a conversation and talk to you about this, let's be clear about this. We hear what you're saying. We understand it's emotional and it's a kind of a deep dive and how these particular things are happening. And you want to be able to ensure that you have the autonomy of your own space and whatnot. But the government of the Bahamas, who's already strapped for cash, need the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, the overview. Let me see if I can fix this. Hold up, guys. Hold up. Here we go. I'm trying to swing this phone here and it wouldn't give me the thing. Anyway, let's try to read it like this. All right, here we go. So it says the Commonwealth of the Bahamas currently uses a single member plurality electoral system, more commonly referred to as the first past the post. And I get your phone call, Bishop. Sorry about that. Right? Known as the first past the post. This system depends on fairly distributed electoral constituencies in accordance to Article 71 of the Constitution. Each electoral constituency elects one member of a legislative house of assembly. To ensure electoral constituencies are created fairly, the Constitution in Article 71 states that the delimitation of constituencies must be conducted at least every 5 years. A role of the commission is to review the electoral boundaries of the Bahamas and to recommend changes to those boundaries where and when necessary. In December 11, 2024, Her Excellency the Governor General, pursuant of the Article 69 of the Constitution of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, appointed the Honorable Patricia DeVoe, MP, Speaker of the House of Assembly, as the chairman of the Constituencies Commission. Justice Gregory Hilton also appointed Deputy Chairperson Honorable Isaac Chester Cooper, MP, Honorable Michael Darville, MP, and Mr. Shandon Cartwright, who I'm going to call you right back. I'm on air right now. I'll call you right back. Forgive me, guys. Right? So it says, and Shandon Cartwright, who was also to complete the 5-member commission. The redistribution is the first to be conducted under the new permanent voter registration enacted under the Parliamentary Election Amendment Act 2020. All right, so that was the introduction. Demolition of the constituencies. The Bahamas shall be divided into 38 constituencies or such greater number, so you can't go under 38, or such greater number as many as may be provided for by an order made by the Governor General in accordance to the provision of Article 70 of the Constitution, and each such constituency shall return 1 member of the House of Assembly. Constituencies Commission. Okay, so they go into that. They talk about the Article 70, which is the procedure of the review of the constituencies. Okay, they go into that, all right? I'm just reading this for you guys. It just came to my phone, so we can just be able to identify this, right? The conclusion of the recommendation. In the final report, we debated the option and the redistribution of the electoral boundaries in New Providence, Grand Bahama, and the Family Island. It was the will of the majority of the commission members to recommend the increase of the number of electoral constituencies from 39 to 41, so increased by 2. Numbers of constituencies. The Bahamas shall be divided into 41 constituencies, with the island of New Providence comprising of 25 constituencies. Okay. It says, island of Grand Bahama comprising of 5 constituencies, and the other family islands, 11 constituencies. Let's see if they give any specifics. The 2 new seats shall be St. James on the island of New Providence and Bimini and Berry Island, which is previously a part of West Grand Bahama and Bimini constituency, and North Andros and Bimini Island, respectively. The Exuma and Rugged Island shall be renamed Exuma and Rugged Island. So they drop the, right? Or the. Mangrove Keys and South Andros shall be renamed Central Mangrove Key and South Andros. The final listing of constituencies, including statistics provided by the PDR, which is the Parliamentary Registration Department, is outlined in Annex 2. The respective maps are attached to Annex 3. It says that the total number of polling divisions shall remain as 511, with movements of polling divisions within constituencies as laid out in Annex 4. The total numbers of voters based on the 195,594 based upon the reports provided by the Parliamentary Registration Department in October 6, 2025. This fulfills the constitutional mandate to present a single report, the constitutional in Constitution Article 71. We thank the Parliamentary Registration Department, in particular, Parliamentary Commissioner Acting, Mr. Harrison Thompson, Mr. Sherlin Hall, consulting of providing inevitable invaluable support and statistical, surely that's my cousin, and support for statistical updates on changes to the voter registry. We further thank Mr. Emil Hunt, editor of the Hansard, who provided the record-keeping support. All right? So the two constituencies that they added is going to be Bimini and Berry Island and St. James here in Nassau. So they increased the constituency volume in Nassau from 24 to 25. They cut off a portion of the constituency that existed in Grand Bahama, which would have been West End and Bimini. It is just now West Grand Bahama. I don't think they actually made implications thereof. They should have made implications thereof. Well, we didn't read the entire thing, so obviously they would have done that. The constituency was previously called West End, or West Grand Bahama and Bimini. And so I presume, and I'm supposed that the information exists in here, that the constituency would have been renamed, previously part of West Grand Bahama and Bimini constituency and North Andros. Yeah, so it should just be West Grand Bahama now. And so we got to be able to look at that, look at the annexed information, and we're going to have a further discussions about these particular things. And so they break it down to show about these annexed information. Adjusted Freetown. Woo! We got to talk about this. There were some adjustments made. They adjusted these particular things. Okay. So we're going to be able to get into these things and have further conversations about it and talk about where we are and where we're going from these particular things. But the two constituencies that exist here, and I got to be able to get someone to tag team and join me in this conversation. It can't just be me one talking like this. The two constituencies, which are St. James and Bimini and Berry Island, is an amazing thing. All right? We already had some prospects, some ideas, some concepts, some conversations, some little, people talking about who their expectations are and who they expect to see in these particular areas. And one of the names that came to the forefront would have been Randy Rowe for the Progressive Liberal Party in the constituency of Bimini and Berry Islands. I think that Randy will do well in that particular capacity in that constituency also. And I'd like to know whether or not this amplifies the approach or what does this do for Kingsley? What does this do for Kingsley? What does it do for Omar, more specifically for the two major organizations in West Grand Bahama, right? Let's talk about that. I want to talk about those particular things. I want to know whether or not who is the person that they will send for the Free National Movement out of Bimini and the Berry Islands. This is going to be interesting to be able to see. I know a lot of persons who live in that space who want to be able to talk about that, so I'm interested to see that also. One of the things that I'd like to be able to hear is the shifting, and I got to be able to read the report. That was just kind of a quick thing that I did just now. So I got to read the report, ingest the information, and understand exactly where we are to see if they made any modifications and any adjustments to St. Barnabas and other things like that. We read in the paper yesterday. This is my yesterday paper. Okay? Here we go. It says, yesterday it says that Kalana MP Dr. Minnis was previously voiced support for the splitting of the constituency to reflect the population growth, insisting that the change would not weaken the electoral prospects. Sources said that the report could be tabled as early as tomorrow, which is today, it's been tabled, right? This is what I want to be able to read. Changes are also expected across several New Providence constituencies, including St. Barnabas, Tall Pines, Centerville, Freetown, and Garden Hills. That is what we're going to be looking at, okay? the constituencies, which is St. Barnabas, Tall Pine, Centerville, Freetown, and Garden Hills. We're looking for those particular things to be able to change. We're looking for that to see exactly what's what. We're looking to see how they're going to be able to change that, what our expectations can be from that change, and whether or not it's going to bode well for the PLP candidate or for the FNM candidate, because essentially that's what it boils down to. Essentially, that was it boiled down to. When we then make our determination of who's going to move and where they're going to move to, we're only looking to find out whether or not this is going to support one person or another. Is this going to be beneficiary to the FNM candidate or the PLP candidate? And the question that I have more specifically is for West Grand Bahama. Now, I believe, watch me, well, I'm sure that if we do more research, I'm sure that if we do more research, we could identify who the St. James constituency would be. And I got to be able to read the annex to see where they're cutting that off from, all right? But I'm sure that if we read the report, we could be able to identify, and we read historic information, we could see where the majority of support exists in those polling divisions, whether they have been historically FNM or they have been PLP. And so we're going to be able to identify that. And so we're going to look at, by the end of the day, to see whether or not they have tabled this report, they are coming to a ruling, coming to a particular position. I'm sure that they're going to have to be able to debate that. Once they come to a position and they be able to do it, boom, get yourself ready for a general election. I believe, watch me, last year, at the Majority Rule March, the chairman of the organization says that we are going to field our strength. Was it January or was it? No, it was I think Emancipation Day or something like that. Some march that happened in June, something like that, right? It was mid-year. But nonetheless, January of this year, on Monday, I believe that after everything is said and done, after our vacation, after that last holiday, I believe that the government of the Bahamas will be coming on to make an announcement about when we could expect a general election. Talk to me. You ain't want to talk now. I believe. See, I can't tell you because I don't know. I don't have no deep. I'm not in the cabinet of the Bahamas. I'm not within the council of the prime minister like that. I don't know. But if we look at the tea leaves, if we look what's happening from a global perspective, if we look at what's happening in Venezuela and the implication that exists in those particular things, if we look at the agitation of the Bahamian people, if you look at the necessity for being able to have a mandate by the Bahamian people and looking for the empowerment and the autonomy or the sovereignty that exists in this particular country, which I believe that everyone around the region will be able to kind of fortify their position and say that I'm duly elected. And if this is time for election, they would move towards that. I believe with what's happening from a geopolitical standpoint, what's happening locally, what's happening from a national perspective, what's happening with the agitation of those persons who are advocates and who are shop stewards and union leaders and whatnot, I believe, but this tumultuous situation that we've entered into with 2026, I believe that we could hear a faint ringing of the bell in the distance. Amen? I can't get it, amen. I believe that we are preparing ourselves for that faint ringing of the bell. Like when the prophet said, go and see, look into the sky and tell me what you see. Say, I see nothing, go again. I see nothing, go again. This is the proverbial small cloud, the size of a man's hand, that's growing immensely and that will be able to water the land. I believe that there is coming. Well, the inevitability is that the government of the Bahamas they must make a decision. They must make a decision. They got to. We don't know when, but they must make a decision. And so I believe that we could be preparing ourselves for a general election before the next budget of the Bahamas. I believe that. It only makes sense. It don't make sense to prolong it. What you prolonging it for? What you can do? What can we build to be able to show the tangibility of the might of your organization? No. You have the support of the Bahamian people in many instances. If we only talking about comparison of what existed with Minnis was already done a year and a half ago. He was done. Hello? Minnis was already done. 18 months to 24 months in, Minnis was cooked. He was cooked. In 2012, when the PLP came in, we knew within the space of the same time that Perry Christie was cooked. It was over for him. It's over. We also knew from 2007, it was a little later for Hubert Ingram, but we knew the time has come for Hubert Ingram to go. And Hubert Ingram being the man that he is, and being able to, and his desire to be able to keep the integrity, because he could have stayed in the, stiff neck and stayed in the organization, but he decided to step back. And in stepping back, he made way for other persons, Hubert Ingram, Michael Pintard, and so forth. So it was a wonderful thing. But the truth is, as we look at this, and we make a determination, as we look at this is wild. This is wild. I'm excited, man. I'm excited to be able to talk like this with you. I'm excited to talk about these particular things, but I think we're getting ready for a general election real soon. Real soon. Real soon. All right, so that's the Boundaries Commission. Guys, make sure you pick up your information, find out more information about the Boundaries Commission. We're going to dissect that together. I'm sure I'm going to be able to talk about it this evening on that other space and dive deeper into it. I'm going to see if I could get one or two persons to be able to discuss the findings in the Boundaries Commission to be able to find out those things. Okay? All right, quick commercial again, and we're going to be out of here real soon. All right, let me take a commercial break and be right back after this.
Say they wanna know where I go. Tell her. Alright, tell her. Watch out. I come from the 242, where we like beat drum and we drink sky juice. Epic ride inside the vehicle. Everywhere stage we move the needle. They wanna know the life living down so, cause the cautious keeping on. No concern, corruption must burn. MP Trump, police and split birds. Blood on the streets, code for the gang, they gone obsolete. Killing up women and children and ting. Politician and the drug boy, them got link. Now what you think? Look what you see. Don't care but you, don't care but me. They street boys still own everything. Now so funky. Divest the disguise. Every day I know the ancestor them cry. Walk with pride. chance to walk the road blind. Run turbulence with no compromise like I exert the kit. Tired seeing poor people suffering and getting tricked by the government again and again.
Before I get out of here, I want to talk about a couple of things. And one of the things I think I need to touch is people business, right? Yeah, politically. Politically, I like to touch people business, get the people business. I just want to be able to talk about that. Former PLP Senator I's nomination, former Progressive Liberal Party, Robin Lyons said yesterday that she has informed the party of her interest in running in the upcoming general election. Though she said she does not have her sights set on any particular constituency. She said that she sent a letter to the PLP following the Golden Isles by-election, which took place in November. Just after the by-election, I sent the party a general letter of interest advising them that I would be available to contest a constituency in the upcoming general election and seeking the party's response in that regard. This is what Lyons said, right? She's gone on to be able to say A5. Let's check it out. Where is it? Hold on. Lyons told the Nassau Guardian, this is the Nassau Guardian that I'm reading. Lyons told the Nassau Guardian that who was an attorney who served in the Senate from 2015 to 2017, a former deputy chairman of the PLP. She ran for the chairmanship in the party's 2023 convention and was unsuccessful against Fred Mitchell, but secured 43% of the vote in what she regarded as a strong showing. It was a strong showing, right? She said yesterday that her decision to, for the first time, seek the PLP's candidacy in the upcoming election is indicative of her evolving views of what she has to offer and contribute to the Bahamas' national development. It is the first time that I've done this. This is what she said. She said that I've been asked and propositioned, but I've always felt as though there were other things that I needed to lend my attention to. I think for where we are as a country, where we are as a party, I think I can't be active in advancing, I think I can't be active in advancing women in leadership. I think this is a typo. I'm sure she did. Anyway, let's read it. She says, I think I can't be active in advancing women in leadership through my work with Caribbean Women in Leadership and other organizations and not step forward myself. Okay, I understand, all right? And then it says, I think that some point it becomes almost duplicitous, really. If you are suggesting that someone do what you have not done, then so that's what she's saying. She says, so here I am. And so I guess we will see how things materialize in the next few weeks. All right. I like this. Now I can say this to you. I think that Robin Lyons is spectacular in her advocacy, in her articulation, in her poise, in her direction, in her retention of information, in her ability to be able to dissect and regurgitate. I think that she is excellent in her fearless posture, in her David-like, the spirit of David quality of being able to go after the proverbial giants and do so without fear. And even in defeat, that she's gracious enough to be able to take that defeat and understand that it was a strong showing, and with determination being able to move forward. I think that Robin Lyons is superb. And then I don't want to preference it or kind of punctuate it with this sort of an idea that says that Robin Lyons is good for a woman. Robin Lyons, good. Point blank. And I think that she could be able to scrap and go toe-to-toe with the best of them. Now, just like Joe Beth, I believe that there is definitely time to be able to develop and maturity that will be able to undergird them as they continue to be able to move forward in the political realm. Yeah. I believe that with time, they'll be strengthened, and that kind of what used to ruffle their feathers easily at the forefront will be absent, will be a speck. It'll be like dust as they continue to be able to shake their shoulders and brush their shoulders off and move forward. Yeah, but we're going to get to that point. But there is a quality that you can identify in the midst of it all. A quality that actually been able to amplify this sort of a concept, an idea of the potential that exists in these people. This is a raw quality. Let's talk about this. Robin Lyons would be an excellent choice. Now, I don't know where you can put her. And she has no specificity in terms of being able to identify a particular constituency. I think that she has shown herself diverse in all specters, in all spheres, in all areas. I think that she's shown herself diverse. And the diversity that she's been able to show has always been this sort of a posture that says, I could rub shoulders with the best of them. Or I can get down with the common man. You know what I mean? And she's done that over the course of time. She's been excellent at that. Excellent at that. And so I want to be able to congratulate her and really encourage the organization, the PLP, that this is, and I believe that, it goes without saying. The PLP, over the course of the past 10 years, with significant emphasis over the past 5 years, over the past 10 years have been identifying talent that has existed within the organization, talent that is budding within the organization, talent that they can be able to mentor and develop within the organization to get them to a particular place and position. The PLP has done a wonderful job of doing that. And so when you see them making way for Darren Pickstock, when you see them making way for Randy Rowe, when you see them making way for Barry, in his particular capacity, Senator Barry Griffin, right? When you see them doing all these particular things, you have to know that the organization is taking serious the idea of succession. The organization is taking serious the idea of sustainability. The organization is taking serious the idea of growth and development. The organization is taking serious the idea that this is just not an old boys party, an old boys club. I must commend the PLP for that. And if I'm being honest with you, this is what we would have seen in the F&M in 1992. In 1987, 1992, 1997, even in 2002, peppered in there. But the organization has taken a turn, and they have resorted to the ways of what existed externally and trying to be able to duplicate that and trying to be able to copy and paste it in their organization. And I believe that this is where they're finding themselves with issues. And I don't know whether or not I've seen, come on now, hold on. I just want to be honest with you. I don't know if I've seen maturity beaming and now I listen, I ain't saying it ain't there. Listen to what I'm saying. I don't know if I've seen, fix it, the Free National Movement has not shown me the talent that has been festering, developing within the walls of their organization. They have not shown me. The Free National Movement have not taken the time to show me that this is the extent of our proverbial deep bench. They haven't done that. They haven't shown me diversity. They haven't shown me the contrast in leadership styles, the contrast. They haven't shown me the complexity in terms of being able to make a decision. And anyone that we put in these particular spaces, young, old, black, white, rich, poor, man, woman, that the FNM has these particular things. The FNM has traveled a route over the past 15 years, almost 20 years, in being able to do what is perceived to be socially safe. I said, damn conversation y'all didn't want to have. The FNM of the past almost 20 years, 19 years, 2027, gonna make 20 years because 2007. Over the past 19 years, the FNM has done what they perceive to be socially safe. They have identified who they believe that, after they've done whatever evaluations that they've done, they identify who they believe will be a good source, good people to kind of put in these places. That's what they've done. No one who will ruffle feathers, anyone who is safe, they've done that. These people not necessarily have any vision, any ideas, any desire, any passion, any determination. They haven't shown us anything significantly. I don't know about the talent that exists within your deep bench. Or what you say is your deep bench. I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know. And that's the issue that I've been having with the FNM, is that you keep trying to play it safe. And with no risk, you get no reward. You keep trying to play it safe. And that's my disappointment with the Free National Movement. My disappointment with the Free National Movement that existed in this particular space, as I continue to be able to have these conversations with you, as we look out there, the Free National Movement has played it safe with their first 17 that they've rolled out. They keep trying to play it safe. No! Don't play it safe, baby. Ruffle some feathers. But believe in the people that you bring forward. You can't believe in no one if you ain't mentoring them, if you ain't developing them, if you ain't pulling them close, if you don't see their skill set, if you don't put them to work. I guarantee you, right now, watch me. Hypothetically, I don't want this to be like a conversation with Clarissa Papoose and Remy, and keep trying to wish the return of Remy into a relationship that was killing Papoose. This is a hip-hop reference. Hypothetically, just for the sake of this conversation, not that this is real, not that this is happening, hypothetically, for the sake of this conversation, in the event that Hubert Minnis was to be placed back in the position of leadership, for what he's been doing in social media and what he's been doing across the country over the past few months, specifically, maybe a year or so, I think he's had exposure to enough young people that we could see a different FNM. Just hypothetically. Don't fight me. Guys, that's the show today. I want to thank you so very kindly. Catch me tonight. I'm going to be on Beyond the Headlines. I can try to see if I can call my cousin them to sit with me. Sherlyn Hall and some other people. I don't know. But we're going to be able to see exactly what's what. And we're going to make a difference. We're going to be able to make some things happen. Tomorrow, I may be a little late if I come tomorrow at all. If not, I'll let you know ahead of time to let you know exactly what's what. Like I said, just being able to be patient with us as we continue to be able to work these things out and make some things happen here in this country, and continue to be able to kind of focus on what we believe that the future can be. I want to thank you so very kindly for tuning in with us. This is The Foundation with Howard Grant. We'll see you tomorrow. Next time.
I have a dream where the powerful and the powerless will sit at the same table, where the haves will see the have-nots, not as burdens, but as brothers, where class will not divide us, but conviction will unite us. I have a dream that the oligarchs will remember we must all eat, that the brown-faced neo-colonialists will remember who they are and whose they are. I have a dream that fraternities will build beyond internal architecture into a national bond, that the walls of design will give way to the bridges of brotherhood, not a fraternity of symbol, but a brotherhood of substance. I have a dream that we remain focused, that we stay in our conviction and remain fearless, that we double down, fortified, to return this Bahamaland to the foundation.